In this video, we are going to learn about constructors and destructors in object-oriented programming in PHP. So let's first look at the constructor, what constructor is and what all advantages do we get if we use constructor in our program. A constructor allows you to initialize an object's properties upon creation of the object. So that means using a constructor, you can initialize the properties of an object. See, like the way we have done using methods, we use this keyword or self keyword and we initialize the properties of an object. So the same thing could be done using a constructor. Let's learn what those changes are. If you create a construct function, so this is a way to create a constructor. This is double underscore, then make use of this construct function. PHP will automatically call this function when you create an object from a class. So this is the advantage of constructor over methods. See, when I create a method, and if I want to access that method, I have to first create its object, and then I have to, using that object, I have to call that method. But that is not the case with constructor. When I create a constructor, and then as soon as I create an object of a class, that constructor will be invoked automatically. So all this is done by the PHP. We don't have to call the constructor again and again. So basically, I'm saving the amount of code. I'm saving my amount of time. I don't have to call that constructor, because that will be invoked automatically as soon as I create an object. But that is not the case with methods. In case of methods, I have to create the object and then I have to call that method using that object. So this is the advantage of constructor over method. Let's go further. Notice that the construct function starts with two underscores. Okay, so it is mandatory to start it with two underscores. Then we have a construct function. It is an inbuilt function provided by the PHP. Using a constructor saves us from calling the method, which reduces the amount of code. So we don't have to call the method. Okay, it will be invoked automatically. So that reduces the amount of code and even it saves time. Okay, so let's look at the example to clear the understanding. Here we have an example. We have PHP tags. Now I have created a class called car. So car is an object in this case. We have two properties, name and color. And here we have a constructor. It can be easily identified. Okay, we can easily distinguish between a constructor and a method. Okay, so see, this is a constructor. The syntax is we have to use the keyword called function, then double underscore construct function, and then we can pass arguments if we want. And inside this we can initialize our properties. Then this is a method which is just returning us this name. Okay, so here one thing to note, here I'm creating an object of this class. So as soon as I create an object, this function, sorry, this constructor will be invoked automatically. Okay, so automatically this name, this will be assigned to this variable dollar name, and then we will be able to see Skoda Rapid onto the screen because we are just calling out this get name method. Now since this is a method, we have to call it, but this is a constructor, so this will be invoked automatically. Okay, so let's see this practically. Okay, so that the understanding becomes more clear. We have PHP tags. Okay, now I will just create a class called car. Now here we will create two properties. First is dollar, then we have, let's take it as dollar color. Okay, now let's make a constructor. So for that we use a keyword function, then double underscore, then construct function. Okay, So inside this we can have any argument, but for now I'm just keeping it blank, and we'll just use a keyword called this. Okay, now why this? Because this is a non-static property, so that's why I have made use of this keyword. Okay, now we will just create a method which will return us this name, so I'll just keep it as get name. Will just return us all of this. Now I will first create the object of this class, so I'll just say $1 is equal to new car, and inside this, okay, I will just name it as Skoda, and inside this I will pass Skoda Rapid. Now you will see the magic, and then we'll just Skoda, we'll call this get name method. We'll just take it. So now what will happen is, as soon as this object is created, this function, this constructor will be invoked automatically. Now this value will be stored inside this variable called $name, and here I am initializing this variable. I am assigning a value Skoda Rapid to this variable. So after execution of this constructor, this variable $name will hold the value Skoda Rapid. Okay, then after that this function will be called, because I am just calling out this function, so it will return us the value of this variable. This is Skoda Rapid. So what I'll do is I'll just echo out, so we'll get to see Skoda Rapid onto the screen. Let's see whether we succeed or not. Yay, we are able to print Skoda Rapid onto the screen. Now how the flow is going, let's first understand this. See, as soon as I create an object, I'm passing a value. So this, as soon as an object will be created, this constructor will be invoked. Now I'm passing one value, which will be stored inside this variable $name. And here I'm initializing this variable called name. Okay, I'm assigning a value Skoda Rapid to this. Then this function will be executed, because I'm just calling out this function. So it is just returning me the value which this variable is holding, and I'm just echoing that out. So here I haven't called this function. This is called this constructor. This constructor has been invoked automatically, and all this is done by PHP. So this is the advantage of using constructor. We are just saving the amount of code and saving time as well. No need to call. We are just saving one line of. Okay. So now let's go to PPT. Okay. So that was about constructor. Now let's talk about destructor. Now these two are the most important concepts in PHP, and they are widely used because they are used to make our program much efficient. Okay, so let's see. A destructor is called when the object is destructed or the script is stopped, or okay, so when a script is executed, has finished its execution, after that a destructor will be called. So at the end of the script, a destructor will be called. If you create a destruct function, the syntax is same. We have to use double underscore and then destruct function. PHP will automatically call the function at the end of the script. So even destruct function will be called automatically by the PHP. Notice that the destruct function starts with two underscore. Okay, so the syntax is similar to that of construct function. Okay, so both constructor and destructor will be invoked automatically. Just the thing, destructor will be invoked at last, in the last, okay, when the execution is about to complete that time. Okay, so let's see the code. We have a class, we have two properties, we have one constructor, and we have here one destructor. Now what is happening? This constructor is used to initialize this variable. Okay, it is quite straightforward. This value will be stored inside this variable, and we are just assigning this value to this variable name. Okay, now this function destruct, let's see, echo the car is, and I'm just printing out this value, dollar this name. Okay, I'm just printing out this value in the destruct function. That's all. Okay. No, here actually I have made one. There's no need to write this line of code. No need of this code. Okay, because there's no method called get name. So here I'm just creating an object. Uh, just after creation, both of them will be invoked automatically. Just destructor will be invoked at in the last. Okay, when the script is about to complete. Okay. So what happens is, I'll just show you practically what happens. Okay, then you will get the clear understanding. Okay, I'll just modify it here. We don't need get name method. So I'll just skip out this line. Now I will create one destructor. So if we use the keyword function double underscore destruct, and inside this I'm just echoing out, uh, let's say the value is, and then inside curly braces you have to give out dollar this and name. Now it is mandatory to give this inside this curly braces. Okay, it is the part of the syntax that you have to follow. Okay, so now what will happen is, first we will get to see the value which is inside this variable name. So we will get to see Skoda Rapid. Okay, so let's see whether we are able to see the value. I'll just reload this. Okay, so the value is Skoda Rapid. Now the main advantage of using destructor is that all the variables that are used in this program will be discarded, okay, at the end of the execution. So it is basically saving a lot of memory. The destructor helps in destructing all the variables that are used by the memory. Okay, so after the execution all these variables will be discarded. So this is the biggest advantage of using constructors and destructors, because they are really very important, and they are very much efficient, and if we use them in our program our code will become more optimized. Okay, so constructor and destructor are invoked automatically, and destructor is used to discard all the variables after the execution, once the execution is complete. So this was all about constructors and destructors in PHP. Thank you.